Good morning and welcome to First Take. Normally, our friend Molly Qerim would greet you. However, Molly announced last night she will be departing from ESPN. She's hosted First Take for 10 years and elevated the show with her grace, her expertise, her incomparable kindness. She's been an enormous part of our success for a decade. Not only did she keep me and many others in line, she did it with dignity and class and kindness, to say the least. We'll miss her and wish her every blessing on her future.
Later that same evening.
That story is for her to tell. Do I have an idea? Of course I do. Am I going to share it with you? No. Because again, that's her story to tell.
It's over. It's actually over. Molly Qerim is done working at ESPN on a permanent basis. After 10 long years, Molly Qerim is finally out at ESPN. This is Sports Guy talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about Stephen A. Smith announcing Molly Qerim is leaving ESPN for good. Although the reasons for Molly Qerim leaving ESPN were not stated directly, it is beyond clear ESPN will have a different look without Molly Qerim being on First Take as a moderator. With Molly Qerim's sudden departure from ESPN, it now raises the question as to why Molly Qerim left ESPN in the fashion that she did. Before I say anything else though, I want to present you guys with the topic question. So here it is. Why did Molly Qerim leave ESPN so abruptly? I have 3 reasons that I would love to share with you guys for why I believe Molly Qerim left ESPN in the fashion that she did. The first reason why I believe Molly Qerim left ESPN in the first place was because of her dissatisfaction, particularly with her contract negotiations. And then the second reason why I believe Molly Qerim left ESPN so abruptly was because of the controversy surrounding around Molly Qerim. And the final reason why I believe Molly Qerim left ESPN in the fashion that she did was because of potentially shady stuff that was occurring behind the scenes. I want to also jump back to the first reason and talk about her dissatisfaction with the contract negotiations. Obviously, it's no secret Molly Qerim was negotiating a new contract and Molly Qerim wanted more money. Obviously, she sees Stephen A. Smith has $20 million a year. Molly Qerim is thinking, well, damn, I'm only making $5 million a year. Now, I don't know if Molly Qerim is actually making $5 million a year, but I'm assuming that's actually the case though, because it's not exactly like moderators are getting paid a lot of money relative to other sports talkers in the first place. Now, I'm willing to bet that Molly Qerim wanted to get paid at least $8 million a year, and ESPN said, no, that's not the case. So Molly Qerim essentially walked out on those guys and said, I don't need you guys. I can just go to another network and work at a news station or just enjoy my life rather than working for ESPN, which is something I don't really enjoy doing anyways in the first place. I also want to show you guys this clip of Dan Orlovsky talking about having a foot fetish for Molly Qerim. It was an interesting segment on First Take. I truly believe that this was the beginning of the end for Molly Qerim at First Take. I don't know though, maybe I'm just reading too much in between the lines, but it is definitely worth looking at in terms of why Molly Qerim could have potentially left ESPN as quick as she did. Roll the film.
They're Attico. The brand's right on there.
You don't need to know.
You don't know anything about brands.
It ain't cheap.
You're the last person to talk about brands.
Ain't that something?
Yeah.
Him of all people.
Wow, are you really sniffing the shoe? I just got the shoe and I have tights on. Don't be
I don't
weird.
know about you, Dan. I got to keep an eye on you.
You know, he might have a foot fetish.
Yeah, you might have one.
Dan might be one of those. Dan might be one of those.
No, that's right.
Ain't no Dan. D.O.
It's a nice black patent leather pump.
These are like the lazy heels.
Okay, would you give me my shoe back?
Is there no way we can get rid of him?
Not without cause, Michael.
I have cause. It is because I hate him.
That could have been the mindset of Molly Qerim at ESPN. After that segment, Dan Orlovsky, Shannon Sharpe, and Stephen A. Smith all participated in. Maybe she felt really creeped out by Dan Orlovsky smelling her shoes, and quite frankly, it was a cringy segment on First Take. Did I find it overly offensive? No, but did I find it quite unprofessional? Perhaps, and therefore Molly Qerim could have been really bothered by that. She could have felt like this was a really big issue, and you guys know how women are. They overreact to every single thing, and they end up being more sensitized compared to men. That's just the reality of the situation. Men and women were born to think differently. That's how their minds were structured. And although this may have been construed as a joke amongst men, which I certainly find to be a funny joke, Molly Qerim may have not looked at that as a funny joke on First Take. Molly Qerim could have been really bothered by what was going on in that segment, and it was just a bunch of other little things that added up. It's not just that one segment alone. I just showed you guys that clip because it went viral on X and all these other social media platforms. But obviously they kept talking about Molly Qerim's diet, her clothing, and every single thing. And obviously we all know that Stephen A. Smith and Molly Qerim have always had cringy chemistry towards each other, so that is definitely worth something. And Molly Qerim probably saw the writing on the wall. Therefore Molly Qerim was like, okay, let's go ahead and just pull the plug on ESPN. I could leave ESPN in 3 months, or I could leave ESPN right now. What's the difference? Let me just go ahead and leave ESPN now, and let me just do something else in the meantime. So that's something Molly Qerim could have thought in her head. And the final reason why Molly Qerim left ESPN in the manner that she did was because there was potentially shady stuff occurring behind the scenes. Who's to say Molly Qerim wasn't sleeping around with some ESPN executive? I'm not saying that wasn't happening. I'm not saying that it did happen. But what I am saying is that these things happen way more often than what people are thinking in the mainstream media. How do you think these hot women get jobs in the media in the first place? Some of them get them through merit, but about 80 to 90% of those women are getting it because they're willing to give something to get something. That's usually how it works with these high-power companies. ESPN is a powerful influence. Now, granted, ESPN has declined their influence on society over the years, but that doesn't mean there aren't executives who have a lot of power at ESPN, and some of these people are willing to do anything they can get to get power at ESPN. So Molly Qerim could have been in a relationship with an ESPN executive to begin with. I don't actually think this was the case, but if it was, would it surprise me? Absolutely not. I truly believe that there was some stuff going on behind the scenes and some things went sideways. Therefore, Molly Qerim and those ESPN executives were like, okay, let's just go ahead and end this now. Let's go ahead and move on before it gets worse. We don't want this to become like the Charlie Dixon situation. Therefore, we got to go ahead and pull the plug now rather than pull it later. It's going to hurt now, but it's not going to hurt as much as it will later on. Molly Qerim left ESPN for a number of reasons, but those are the three main reasons why I believe Molly Qerim could have potentially left ESPN. Although I believe the biggest reason why Molly Qerim left ESPN was because of contract negotiations. Stephen A. Smith has already more or less said that on the Stephen A. Smith show. I truly agree with what Stephen A. Smith had to say. Stephen A. Smith is certainly valid in his take on why Molly Qerim left ESPN. I know he says that he hasn't really shared it, but he essentially already did because he rambled a long time. And if you read in between the lines, it's pretty apparent Molly Qerim left ESPN because she was unhappy with her contract situation at ESPN. It's that simple. So that is why I believe Molly Qerim left ESPN so abruptly, because of dissatisfaction with her contract negotiations, controversy already surrounding her, and potentially shady stuff behind the scenes, as the timing of Molly Qerim's departure was certainly odd to say the least. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking. Like the video and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I may shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That will be for the @DustinNastran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram @DustinNastran and at Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter @DustinNastran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. go ahead and like the video, comment down below, check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel, Sports Guy Talking.